Got a question here from Shazza685. What is the recommended saving amount to apply for a mortgage? That's a really good question. Let's go to the drawing board and break it down. So I've got a table here that's broken down in deposit, loan, and mortgage insurance, which stands for LMI, Lender's Mortgage Insurance. Now let's start at the bottom, which is the ideal situation, which is a 20% deposit. You'll be borrowing 80%, and because it's at 80%, there is no mortgage insurance. Then let's move up the ladder, and if you say, I don't have 20% deposit, I've only got 15%, then the lending would be 85%, mortgage insurance is about 2%. And as we move up, 10% deposit, 90% lending, 2% mortgage insurance. If you're really struggling with cash and you really want to push the borrowing capacity, 5% deposit, lending will be 95%, and mortgage insurance will be around 2 to 3%. Now I know that doesn't make sense to you at the moment, so let's give you an example. Say you're a first home buyer at a $700,000 property, 5% deposit looks like $35,000, 10%, $70,000, 15, $105K, 20%, $140K. Now because you're buying something that's under $750,000 for a house, I'm assuming an established house, there will be no stamp duty. But I noticed in your question you said, what is the recommended savings? There's honestly no recommendations at all. It really depends on how much money you have. So if you have, for example, $140,000, then go with a 20% deposit. Why would you pay mortgage insurance to the bank when you don't really need to? As I said here, mortgage insurance is around 2 to 3%. That works out to be around $21,000. Now, even though that can be capped on the loan, which means you can borrow that mortgage insurance, why would you want to do that if you have the adequate deposit to pay for the 20% deposit, borrowing at 80%? However, if you are an investor and you want to push your $140,000 to its best mileage possible, for example, from the $140,000, you want to split that up to 2 properties where you're depositing $70,000 each, it then makes sense to pay mortgage insurance for that because mortgage insurance is tax deductible when you're buying an investment property. So it really depends what you're trying to do, Shazza685, whether you're a first home buyer or whether you're an investor. But either way, hopefully that answers your question, and thank you again.